I'm Alex, 28, and I have a younger sister, Emma, 22, who recently graduated from college. While our parents have always been, let's say, fascinating in their parenting style, this most recent act has left me furious. For some context, I've always been the responsible one in the family. After working hard in school, I applied for scholarships, and straight out of college, I earned a decent position in finance. Since I was 22, I've been financially independent, and I'm proud of what I've achieved. Emma, on the other hand, has always been the family's darling. I love my sister, don't get me wrong, but our parents have clearly pampered her. Emma was always obviously the favorite growing up. She was never asked to work a part-time job or help with housework. She got the newest gadgets, clothes, and appliances. Focusing on my own future and goals, I tried not to let it disturb me too much, but at times, the favoritism was hard to ignore. One incident from when I was 16 and Emma was 10 stands out. I had been saving up for months to buy a new gaming system. The day I finally had enough money, I excitedly told my parents I was heading to the store to buy it. Their response shocked me. "Oh, we already bought one for Emma last week. You're welcome to share hers." Though I was heartbroken, I tried to be happy for Emma and buried my disappointment. Fast forward to the present, Emma recently graduated with a degree in communications. She worked hard and she definitely deserves to celebrate her accomplishment, so I was actually proud of her. I even gave her a beautiful graduation gift, a new laptop she had been wanting. Then, last week, my mom called me, bursting with excitement. She told me that Emma's ideal graduation gift was a month-long trip through Europe. Thinking it was a kind gesture from our parents, I was happy for Emma. But then came the shocking revelation. "We used your credit card to book it all," my mom said dismissively, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. "We needed the points from your card to upgrade some of the flights and hotels, so we'll pay you back." Naturally, I had no words. What I was hearing was hard to believe. When I finally found my voice, I asked about their spending. The response felt like a punch in the gut. $155,000. Yes, $155,000 on my credit card, without my permission or knowledge. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Mom, you can't just use my credit card without asking me. That's illegal. $155,000 is a lot of money," I added, still stunned. Her response was dismissive. "Oh, Alex, don't be so theatrical. This is for your sister's graduation. Families look out for one another. Don't worry, we're good for it. We'll pay you back eventually." Even then, I couldn't understand how she could be so casual about it. When I tried to explain why this was such a big deal, the effect on my credit score, the fact that I might need the credit limit for emergencies, the sense of betrayal, she cut me off. "You've always been so selfish," she said, her voice cold. "Can't you just be happy for your sister? This is her big moment. Your penny-pinching habits are ruining it." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. For complaining about an illegal $155,000 transaction on my credit card, I was being called selfish. I hung up the call feeling a mix of hurt, anger, and disbelief. I tried talking to my dad over the next few days, hoping he would be more reasonable, but he confirmed my mom's perspective. I was exaggerating and should just be supportive of my sister. Emma, for her part, seemed completely oblivious to the situation. She gushed about how excited she was for the trip and thanked me for helping her graduate. When I tried to talk to her, she made me feel like I was the one who was being unreasonable. After a lot of frustration, I decided to call the credit card company. To my shock, they told me that my parents had booked everything online using my card details, which they had because they had permissioned in case of an emergency. The credit card company said it wasn't fraud, as I had given them my details. Now, I'm facing a $115,000 debt, a maxed-out credit card, and a family that believes I'm being self-serving for not wanting to pay for my sister's expensive trip. The people who are supposed to love and support me have betrayed me, and I feel hurt, angry, and confused about what to do next. Part of me wants to cancel the whole trip to prevent further financial abuse. Another part of me just wants to pay it off to avoid more family drama. But $115,000 is a lot of money, and the thought of it truly disturbs me. Furthermore, allowing this to happen could set a dangerous precedent for more financial mistreatment in the future. Is my reaction too extreme? Should I just swallow my pride and pay for my sister's vacation? Or should I stick to my guns, even if it means possibly souring my relationship with my family? I could really use some guidance, as I feel completely lost. Update. I appreciate all of your advice and encouraging words. The sheer response to my post really startled me. Reading your responses helped me realize that my anger over this situation wasn't insane. I felt violated, and I'm glad to know others agree that this was an extreme breach of trust. Considering your counsel, I decided to take action. I escalated the issue with my credit card provider again, stressing that while my parents had my card information for emergencies, I had never approved this specific use. After some back and forth, they agreed to review the charges as possible fraud. I also called for a family Zoom meeting to discuss the situation, texting Emma and my parents beforehand. I wanted to give them a chance to make things right before I acted more forcefully. The call was intense, but I calmly explained why their actions were unacceptable, the legal implications, the breach of trust, and the financial burden they had placed on me. I told them they needed to cancel the vacation immediately, as I had reported the charges as fraudulent. The response from my parents was not what I had hoped for. They were outraged, accusing me of being dramatic and trying to spoil Emma's graduation party. My mother even went so far as to say, "We raised you, clothed you, and put a roof over your head. The least you could do is help your sister have a lifetime of travel." I inhaled deeply and responded, "You chose to have children. Your obligation as parents was to support us. It doesn't mean you're free to use my credit card without my permission." Emma, who had been calm up until that point, suddenly started crying. She wailed, "I can't believe you're trying to ruin my graduation gift. You've always harbored envy of me. Why can't you just be happy for me for once?" Her words stung, but they also strengthened my resolve. I knew this pattern of entitlement and favoritism ran deep, and it was time to set some clear boundaries. "Emma," I continued, trying to keep my voice calm but firm, "I'm happy for you, and I'm proud of your graduation. But this vacation was booked illegally, with money taken without my permission. It's not okay, and it's not a gift for me." Finally, my normally quiet dad spoke up. "Son, we didn't think it was such a big deal. For emergencies, we've always had access to your card as a family. We simply thought this one occasion would be acceptable." What I was hearing was unbelievable. "Dad, this was not an emergency, and $155,000 is not a small sum. You can't just spend my money without consulting me." Emma was crying. My parents were furious, and I felt exhausted but determined. When the call ended, they insisted I was overreacting and that they would reimburse me shortly. But they refused to cancel the trip. After the call, I decided to move forward. I told a friend of mine, a lawyer, about the situation. He cautioned me that if I decided to take legal action, what my parents did was actually illegal and could be grounds for a lawsuit. I also reported the unauthorized credit card use to the police. The officer I spoke with took down all the details and was sympathetic. He advised me that, while pressing charges would likely cause a significant divide in my family, I was completely within my rights to do so. At this point, I'm still unsure of what to do next. Part of me loves my family and wants to find a way to repair things, but another part of me feels sick at the thought of suing them. On the other hand, their behavior was completely inappropriate. If I don't act strongly now, I fear this kind of financial mistreatment could happen again in the future. For now, I've decided to wait and see what comes from the credit card company's inquiry to stop any further unauthorized use of my information. I also froze my credit. This whole situation has made me realize I need to set stricter boundaries with my family. I've always tried to be the peacemaker, to straighten things out and keep everyone happy, but in doing so, I've allowed myself to be repeatedly exploited. Though I'm hurt and outraged, I also feel a strange sense of empowerment. For the first time, I'm standing up for myself and saying no. This is unacceptable. While it's unpleasant and frightening, it also feels necessary. Once again, thank you all for your support and guidance. Once I have more updates on the credit card inquiry, or if anything else comes from this with my family, I will update you again. Update 1. My previous update was several weeks ago, and a lot has transpired since then. I want to thank you all once again for your support and guidance. Your comments have truly been a lighthouse during this difficult period. First, the good news. My credit card company's inquiry came back in my favor. They reversed the charges because they agreed the transactions were unauthorized. Having that $155,000 debt removed from my shoulders is such a relief. Now, let's talk about the family fallout. All hell broke loose when my parents and Emma found out that the credit card dispute had caused the trip to be canceled. Furious calls and texts flooded my phone, accusing me of destroying Emma's life. My mom left an especially angry message, calling me a selfish, unappreciative son. Emma posted a moving video on social media about how her spiteful brother had ruined her dream graduation trip. Some of our shared friends and relatives began reaching out to me, asking why I was treating my younger sister so badly. The situation was spiraling out of control, so I knew I had to clear the air. I posted a calm, objective statement explaining what actually happened, how my credit card had been used without my consent, and how I had tried to resolve things with my family before involving the credit card company. The reactions to my post were mixed. Some people were supportive, expressing dismay at my parents' actions. Others felt that I should have just taken one for the team and let Emma go on the trip. It was eye-opening to realize how many people felt that fraud was acceptable if it was for family. A few days later, my mom's sister, my aunt, called me unexpectedly. She shared some family history I wasn't aware of and expressed understanding of my situation. My aunt revealed that my mom had a history of financial irresponsibility and had previously taken advantage of family members. My aunt offered her support and encouraged me to stand firm. Talking to my aunt helped me realize that this problem went beyond just one instance. Years of enabling and excusing my parents' behavior had created a toxic pattern, and it was time to break that cycle. I made the decision to go no contact with my parents and Emma for the foreseeable future. I told them that I couldn't trust them right now and needed time to process everything. Emma also heard me tell her that, while I love her and am proud of her accomplishments, I need some distance from her too. Their responses were mostly negative. My parents accused me of severing the family, and Emma sobbed, saying I was punishing her for something she had no control over. Though it was hard, I stayed firm in my decision. Amid all this turmoil, I've focused on protecting myself from further financial mistreatment. I've changed all my passwords, closed the credit card my parents had access to, and opened a new account at another bank. I've also started seeing a therapist, which has been very helpful in processing my emotions and learning to set better boundaries. An unexpected benefit of all this has been that it's brought me closer to a few other relatives, especially my aunt, who has been encouraging and supportive. It's comforting to know that not everyone in my family condones what my parents did. As for Emma's graduation vacation, I heard through the family grapevine that my parents are still considering sending her somewhere else. But I remind myself that it wasn't my responsibility to provide that for her. Part of me feels guilty that Emma missed the Europe trip. I still struggle with doubt and remorse at times, wondering if I did the right thing, or if I was too harsh. But then I remember the violation I felt when I found out what my parents had done, and I know I made the right decision in standing up for myself. While this experience has been painful, it's also been a valuable lesson in self-respect and setting boundaries. I'm learning that love shouldn't have a price tag, and that saying no, even to family, is okay. Once again, thank you all for your support. For now, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward. I'll update again if anything significant happens with my family or if there are any developments with the credit card inquiry. One day, my mother even showed up at my apartment without warning, creating quite a disturbance in the corridor. Though it was tough, I stayed my ground and avoided interacting. The extended family dynamics have been conflicted. Some family members have been encouraging, especially my aunt, who first got in touch. She is now a great friend and ally. Others, using the "but their family" justification, have nevertheless encouraged me to reconcile with my parents for my own mental peace. I have had to cut ties with some of these cousins. Positively, though, this circumstance has resulted in some unanticipated personal development. Spending the time and effort I used to manage the drama in my family has helped me concentrate more on my own life and aspirations. I've started a new hobby, photography, and have been spending more time with friends who honor my limits. I've also made some important financial choices. I've started establishing a stronger emergency fund and have been more generous with my retirement savings. The value of financial freedom and stability has been really emphasized by this whole experience. Last week brought one especially fulfilling event at work. I got a promotion, accompanied by a significant wage raise. I might have felt obliged in the past to tell my family this news, but this time I celebrated privately with a small group of close friends, glad of my achievements, free from guilt or obligation to share. Regarding Emma's graduation vacation, my aunt told me our parents ultimately sent her on a 2-week California tour. Emma's apparently had fun with it. Looking ahead, I'm somewhat hopeful, but yet wary. I've chosen to keep my parents under no contact for at least 3 more months. I need more time to recover and evaluate whether they can honor my limits. Emma allows me to gently restore our friendship, but I'm moving carefully and keeping clear boundaries. This encounter has really helped me learn about the real meaning of family. Standing up for myself and establishing limits. Family, I've come to see, is about love, respect, and support as much as it's about blood ties. The friends and relatives who have supported me during this struggle have shown me what actual family entails. Regarding financial freedom, I've also gained useful insights. Although I've always been frugal with money, this scenario has made me especially alert to all my accounts. I've added extra security measures, and I've become more aggressive in safeguarding my financial data, even from relatives, particularly during family gatherings. I missed a few events because of the no-contact policy. There have been times of uncertainty and grief. Mother's Day proved especially challenging. But I remind myself that my mental health and personal development depend on this distance. One unanticipated result of this whole process is that I've started to be really helpful to friends handling personal family financial problems. Many people have come to me seeking guidance on establishing limits and handling financially reckless family members. Being able to guide others through similar circumstances makes me feel wonderful. Regarding my parents' financial circumstances, my aunt has told me they are having trouble. Apparently, they have been depending on my credit for purposes beyond Emma's vacation. This has caused some conflict between them since my dad holds my mom responsible for pushing too far with the credit card theft. Though part of me feels bad knowing they are facing money problems, I remind myself that their bad financial choices are not my duty to correct. Emma has offered some observations on how her parents responded to all of this. She says they still don't really understand why I responded so passionately. They can't comprehend why I'm making such a big deal out of it. They view their actions as natural family behavior. This ignorance irritates me, but it also helps me realize that I made the right choice in separating myself. After much thought on my early years in adulthood, I came to see trends of financial and emotional control I had accepted. Though it's been a difficult journey, it's also been liberating. I'm learning to validate my own emotions and experiences apart from parental approval. Regarding my personal life, I have lately started dating again. Dealing with all this family drama, I had been reluctant to interact with anyone. But lately, I've met someone who has been very sympathetic about my circumstances. Though it's early days, it feels fantastic to be developing a relationship with someone who upholds my values and limits. I'm also thinking about drastically altering my life. Though I've always wanted a master's degree, I put it off somewhat because of worries about how it would affect my capacity to support my family financially. Now, I'm really researching programs and thinking about diving in. Making decisions grounded just in what's best for my future and me feels empowering. As I draft this update, I realize how much has changed in just a few months. The initial shock and resentment have subsided, replaced by a cool determination. I'm actively building the life I want for myself, not just reacting to the behavior of my family. To those of you perhaps handling similar family issues, I want to say it gets better. Though setting limits is difficult, and there can be reactions, keep firm in your rights. That includes the right to guard your mental health, your money, and your personal belongings. Again, I appreciate all of your support throughout this journey. Your guidance has been a lifesaver. Though I'm not sure what the future holds for my connection with my sister and parents, I am taking it one step at a time. I know I will be fine whatever comes of it. Right now, I'm stronger, more certain of myself, and ready to meet whatever lies ahead. If there are any major changes, I will notify you once more. For now, I am focused on moving forward and creating the life I want, surrounded by supportive people, with wisdom earned and fresh starts. Update 4. My last update was 6 months ago, and I felt it was time to let all of you, who have been so encouraging along this path, know about the most recent developments. First, the biggest news. I've been accepted into a master's program in a city 3 hours from where I currently live. This 2-year financial technology program fits perfectly with my professional objectives. Starting this fall, I feel equal parts excited and anxious about this new phase of my life. Choosing to pursue this degree was not easy. It involved quitting my career, relocating to a new place, and taking on some student debt, but it also means investing in my future in the way I've always wanted. I realized that I had been holding myself back, constantly weighing how my choices might affect my family. It feels incredibly freeing to now be choosing based on what would be best for me. Regarding my family, things have changed in ways I never would have predicted 2 months ago. The no-contact period with my parents formally came to an end. I agreed to a family therapy session with a professional therapist. It was a tough session. My parents arrived still believing they had done nothing wrong, but as the session progressed, some shocking facts emerged. My dad had hidden a large financial loss from a bad investment for months. They had been secretly struggling financially, and they turned to my credit card to maintain appearances. Tears and accusations followed, but this revelation made my parents realize the weight of what they had done. Although this doesn't justify their actions, it helped me see the desperation driving their poor decisions. The therapist guided us through the issues, and for the first time, both of my parents sincerely apologized. We have agreed to continue family therapy, although I'm still keeping strict limits. It's a gradual process, but I feel cautiously hopeful about reconstructing our relationship on better terms. Emma has continued to grow and mature. She moved into her own apartment and started working full-time to achieve financial independence. Our conversations have become more frequent, and I feel like I'm finally getting to know my sister as an adult. She's even asked for advice on saving and budgeting, which feels like a major advancement in our relationship. On a personal note, the relationship I mentioned in my last update has evolved into something meaningful. Though it means we will be doing long distance for a while, Sarah has been very encouraging of my decision to return to school. Her own experiences with setting limits with family have made her a great source of insight and support. Financially, I'm in good shape. Thanks to the encouragement I've received, I was able to offset some of the costs of graduate school and save a sizable amount for my move. I've also become much more protective of my financial data. Recently, I had to turn down a request from a distant relative to co-sign a loan. Although it wasn't easy, I stood my ground and felt good about setting that limit. I've been reflecting on how much has changed since that first shocking phone call from my mother about the credit card charges. As I prepare for this next phase of my life, the hurt and resentment I felt back then have mostly disappeared. Instead, I now feel empowered and self-assured in a way I never realized I could. This process has taught me so much, especially about family. I've come to understand the importance of establishing and maintaining boundaries. True family, whether related by blood or by choice, is about supporting your development and respecting your limits. I've learned that it is okay to prioritize my own well-being and future, even if it means making difficult decisions. Thank you to everyone who has followed my journey and provided support along the way. Your words have been a source of strength and clarity during some very trying circumstances. To anyone facing similar family conflicts, know that it's possible to emerge from the other side wiser and stronger. I'm excited and full of possibilities as I pack up my apartment and prepare for this new journey, something I haven't felt in years. I'm proud of how far I've come and excited for what the future holds. I'll be busy with my move and starting school, so I may not update again for a while. Nonetheless, I will always be grateful for the support I've received here. Here's to fresh starts, gained wisdom, and the courage to design the life we truly want for ourselves. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit notification bell to stay updated.